Hi guys. First up today, let's do Thursday's thoughts. I haven't done that in a while, so let's go ahead and catch up on that. I want to give you a pregnancy update today because I want to give you some of my feelings about a couple of subjects and some of the things I'm dealing with, which I think in the scheme of things are fairly minor. So I'm a little over 16 weeks today. I am due March 15th. So far, everything's been okay. I had a lot of nausea and fatigue for my first trimester. I was pretty much nauseous all day. That finally has disappeared. It took until about week 14 for my stomach to feel fairly normal. Now, I'm hungry all the time. The fatigue is improved, but not gone. I have good days and bad days. My endurance is horrible. The stomach, for those who've been pregnant, you know this, but it just doesn't work right. You're bloated all the time. Anything you eat doesn't quite work right. It's just not fun. It just isn't functioning. And since I have all these food intolerances, I never know what is pregnancy issues or food intolerance issues. So I'm trying to keep my diet fairly simple, but at the same time I'm trying to eat probably 5 to 6 times a day. Smaller meals, that's what you're supposed to do. I'm used to eating 1 to 2 meals a day, so this has been a big change for me. It's very odd to wake up 2 in the morning really hungry and starving. I've had a 12-week ultrasound. Everything showed up normal there. We'll have a 20-week ultrasound, do the anatomy scan. I originally started with an OB that was referred from my infertility folks, and I didn't quite hit it off with her. She was probably in the room for 5 minutes, which on my first OB appointment, I kind of expected a little bit more. I decided to move over to a birthing center. So far, my first appointment with them last week went really well. I do have a couple of conditions that concern me. I have a long history of interstitial cystitis, which is sort of an irritation of the bladder that can cause a lot of pain in the bladder. I maintain without medications. I do acupuncture, stretches, yoga, and I avoid certain foods that irritate the bladder, and I've really pretty much been able to keep it under control. I haven't had a major flare in probably 5 or 6 years. But the increased pressure from a baby and labor and all of that, I'm a little worried about delivery, especially because I'd like to do a medication-free delivery. So I don't want to set myself up for a horrible event. The second thing I have to worry about is I have what's called a bicornuate uterus. The top of the uterus dips down. Mine is very mild, where it's just basically looks like a heart. It dips down right at the top. Some folks have a full bicornuate where it actually splits the uterus in two. You can even have 2 cervixes. So mine is actually very mild. Many women actually have this and don't know it and have natural childbirth no problem. So I'm hoping that I can stick with my midwife center, the birthing center, have a natural birth, etc., etc. The things to worry about with this condition are like preterm labor, poor fetal growth, and breech position, which of course any of those would equal I can't be at the birthing center, I'd be over at the hospital, which is fine. I just need to prepare for whatever is best for both of us. So I may have additional ultrasounds to watch fetal growth, and we will definitely be looking for a breech issue early, and hopefully we can take care of that. There are things you can do to position the baby to hopefully move them. I'm not sure if I'm eligible for all of them because that deviation of my uterus might be a weak point, and so pushing a baby around can cause a rupture of the uterus. I'm not 100% sure on this, so don't quote me, but that's some things that I've heard. So I'm meeting with a higher risk OB in about 3 weeks to do my 20-week ultrasound, and we're gonna go over my risks. Hopefully I can stay with the birthing center because I really like these folks, and all that will work out. So I'll keep you updated on that. Again, my issues are fairly minor. I do have my history of fibromyalgia and adrenal fatigue and all of that. So I'm trying to stay on top of my health and keep an eye on that. But I think so far everything I'm having is pretty much just pregnancy related. I don't think any of my problems are flaring. To be honest, for those with fibromyalgia and so forth, the hormones that tend to relax your abdomen and all of that for the growth of the baby seem to be helping my back problems and my chronic muscle tension. So I've actually improved a little bit on the muscle pain. I can't say that that's going to continue through the whole pregnancy, but that's where I'm at so far. So I'm very happy and I'm very grateful that we were able to get pregnant after almost 4 years of trying. The one thing that's weird, and I didn't expect this, after dealing with infertility you start to lose the ability to think very far forward because you've had so many disappointments along the road. I'm still worried that something's going to happen. I can't let go of that feeling, and I think that's fairly common when you've dealt with infertility. I do feel after my last appointment, after hearing the baby's heartbeat, I kind of feel a little bit more, I feel just a little bit more relaxed. The other part of it is I can actually feel the baby now. I don't feel any movement, but you can actually feel the shape of the baby. It's about 45 inches long, and I can feel where it's at. And I think that really, really helps mentally move past that obstacle of always worrying. It's not gone yet. I don't think it'll be gone ever through this pregnancy, but it's better. So there's your pregnancy update for Thursday's thoughts this week. I will keep you up to date. Hopefully I'm not boring y'all. And I'd give you a belly shot, but there isn't much there yet. It looks about the same as the last one. So as soon as I'm showing, I will give you guys an update. Thanks for joining me. Let's go on with the vlog. I don't think I have a lot going on, but let's go on with the vlog. This is what I get for trying to save a little money. Somebody gave me all my jars and lids. See that? It didn't seal. I don't know if it's the lids, what I did. Buggers. Definitely no seal. Gosh, I just don't think these canning lids were meant for this pressure because it's shoving all the sealer stuff up to the sides. Yeah, I don't think these lids are meant for this. Alright, we'll go get regular canning lids today. Well, I tried to can some meat. Ooh, it looks really red on here. It's not that red. I don't think I'm going to try this. It sat out all night without a sealed lid. What do you think, Mia? I don't think it's worth it. This, right here. This is the true indication of fall. The daily cat cuddles have begun. Mia, what is with your foot? I think there's a Mia head somewhere around here. Yeah, somewhere in there. Oy. Okay, I got lids. Regular lids. And if the free jars I got don't work, we can just say that $50 saved wasn't worth it. So there we go. You gotta have Mr. Clean magic erasers. It's the only way to clean walls and doors. Gotta have those things. So sticking with the pregnancy theme today, there's something that cracks me up, and I guess all I can do is laugh about it. I knew my hormones were gonna go a little crazy. Okay, fine, to be expected. I have probably bickered more with my husband in the last 3 months than I have in the last 3 years, 5 years. It's kind of crazy. I'm used to that, whatever. I'm trying to bite my lip, keep my temper, etc., etc. But my stranger rage, and that's what I call it, my stranger rage is what took me by surprise. Driving, I'm a little more angry than I should be. And in grocery stores and stuff like that, with carts, I just want to run people over. It's gotten a little out of hand. And my filter is gone. So like the things you would normally just kind of say in your mind, I'm almost saying. And I'm really having a hard time not. I hope this doesn't get any worse. Like in the one of the aisles at the grocery store, this lady was taking up the whole aisle, and so I'm like trying to squeeze past her cart, and I'm like, excuse me. And she didn't even look up, didn't move, didn't anything. And so in my mind, I was saying, or not, just being a smart ass. But literally, I started to say it. I was like, oh, and I almost had to cover my mouth with my hand. My filter is disappearing. I don't have ability to control it. It's funny. And it would have been funny if some older Asian lady had gotten in a fight with me over her cart in the aisle because I was a sarcastic ass. Oh well. Alright, enough about that. So I got my canning jars, and let's go get a couple more things and then go home and cook dinner. I never did make stir fry yesterday, so I have to make that tonight. Yeah. So I got my veggies all cut for stir fry. I've got my meat. It's elk backstrap. It's all cut and marinating. And now I'm actually making some chili. For Robert, he needed some frozen for a hunting trip coming up soon. So this is a 2.5 pound elk roast. And I've kind of got like a trick. So I like to use these larger old roasts that we just don't have anything to do with chili. Some people chunk up the meat and make their chili that way. What I like to do is I cube the meat and then I run it through the food processor briefly. I learned this from Alton Brown, where he showed you how to make your own burger from scratch. And the texture goes really well in chili. Well, according to people who eat it, I don't eat it. So I'm going to clean this up. You got to get all this stuff off of here because this is the stuff that gives you the off taste. There's some silver skin on this side, which you got to get all that off as well. Then I'm going to cube it, grind it, and then brown it for chili. Okay, I got all the little fat chunks off and the silver skin. A little bit of this isn't going to matter because I'm grinding it up, but the main silver skin piece is off. So now I cube. So now we put this in small batches in the food processor. You don't want to put too much, otherwise it just won't get done. I think I can do about half. That's an obnoxious dog in the background. So I'm going to pulse this just to where it's starting to break up into 1/4-inch chunks or so. You might have to go in and stir it up a little, just to make sure your chunks are getting done. And that's how it works. So now I'm going to brown this and start my chili. So I brown up the elk that I've kind of partially ground. I added some onions and bell peppers to soften, and I'll tell you what, I've probably tried 4 or 5 different chili recipes on my own from scratch, and they suck. I haven't been able to figure it out yet. But I don't like chili. The husband does, and he just says, every time I make them. The one he loves, this one. I can get it from the local grocery store. And there's no questionable ingredients in it. It's actually not bad. It's just a bunch of seasonings, some salt, and some cayenne. I don't use the masa flour. It never needs to be thickened. And it's just the right combination. So, you know what? Rather than me experimenting with a gazillion different chili recipes, he likes it. That's what I use. Sometimes I'll add a little bit of extra meat and a little bit of extra ingredients. Just kind of make a bigger batch, but this is what I use. Sorry, I make almost everything else from scratch, but there's some things you just can't. So I'll make this, let it cook down for a while, add beans for the last 15 minutes, then freeze it, and he'll take it for a hunting trip. Okay, you're driving me nuts inside, so let's play. You ready?